So here we are in our last part of the farmyard blanket. The task that's left at this point is we've got our fences on, we've done our little embroideries on each section that we want to do, and we're now going to be lining up our pieces and just whip stitching between them. Again, if you have decided to do the crochet around the edge, you've got an even number of blanket stitches where you can do the single crochet 2 together all the way around. I'm not going to do that because I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm going to go with a whip stitch because that's what that's what I'm most comfortable with. But I do agree that the single crochet, when you're doing them together, while that's a much slower option for me, it would leave it looking nice and flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to find our layout. I will insert the layout that I've worked out in here somewhere, so that you can follow along with that layout if you like. But there's only a couple of things to keep in mind. This blanket is designed as also kind of like a playmat, so that as the baby grows, you've got the option of maybe making up some of the ducks or the cows or the sheep patterns that I've got up on my website as well. Or you can get like the little toy tractors, the little toy cars. What we've got is we've got a road that goes through our farm. We've got these ones here do line up so that we can have our roadway going through. You can choose to take this roadway and line up the roadway with the barn or the house. Now the barn and the house don't have the grey on the bottom, so that you don't have to do that. There are enough of these boxes that you can just take the road anywhere you want to, as long as you follow the direction of the knitting. Let's find a vertical one here. Nope, I've got a whole stack of horizontal ones within reach. Typical. So ignoring the fact that I've put these the wrong way around, as long as you are setting up your road in a way that makes sense around your playmat, you're following all of my instructions, and you're going to have this glorious little play blanket for when you're completed. So let's stitch these all together. We're just going to whip stitch them together. You're going to see this in a strange collection of videos because I'm not sure that I can do this justice filming from above. So basically all we're doing is we're finding our pieces that we want and putting them together. Now this whole thing should work by never having to do 2 matching blocks next to each other, because I feel like that looks boring. So what we're aiming for is a nice sort of mix of colours. So if we've got our green grasslands over here, it's got a nice mix going here. We can then put in our red barn if we wanted to, or we could take another section of road. So many tangles. We can take a road section, and then we could put some hay bales up above, and we could turn the corner here, say. So you've got options as to how you want to lay this out. Again, I will show you the layout on my website and probably remember to insert, but we all know the running joke on this channel, I will probably forget to insert the picture, but I'll put in the picture of how I see it going together. You can add more flowers. I still think if I've got time before the AMP show, I will add more flowers to my little pathway. We shall see. Yeah. The other things that we can do with these, if you manage to make one of each of these blocks, so one each of these blocks will give you 3 roads, 1 vertical, 1 horizontal, and 1 corner, 2 buildings, and yeah, there's 9 different blocks. So with 9 different blocks, what you can achieve is sewing them together into a fashion that makes more sense that I'm just shoving here. If we sew them together as a 9, what we've got is a European pillow sized front. If you manage to make 18 different blocks, you've got a 2-sided pillow. The other thing you can do if you've got 13 blocks is you can take these blocks and you can stitch them together. I will try and remember to insert the instructions for this, to create a bag out of squares. It will mean that one of your squares, and I would recommend it being something like one of these ones where this one's got bobbles. You don't want bobbles on the bottom. This one tends to stretch out sideways a little bit more, but a forestry block. If you've got the forestry block on the bottom, the way that the bag comes together is that one of your pieces is going to be at the bottom as it is, but it sort of comes together on an angle, and then you have this bit goes around this bit, because I have made these. It's not just me making stuff up at this point. This is something I've definitely made in the past. And what you end up with is having to stitch up at the top, but it does only require 13 squares. You can also take 3 squares. I think it's 3 squares, or is it 4 squares? And you can create a crossbody bag with them as well. Or you can just keep making more and more of them to make a bigger and bigger blanket. It's completely up to you. It's designed as a blanket, but it works as a pillow. Either way, I'd like to see my nephew driving his little cars and trucks along the pathway, or his little tiny tractor, let's be completely honest, and to have some sheep and some playmats on our farm. So let's sew this all together and have a final look of what it all looks like when it's done.